World. It's your boy, 5 Star in Vegas. Broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. And here with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I still know. What's good, Spread Astaire? How are you, man?
Oh man, we're breaking up our summer vacations here. We've both been working hard, but we have a fight that is worthy of our attention. I can't wait to break it down with you guys.
Man, we have a lot going on now. Suddenly and fastly, we've reached the end of July. Next week, it's back to August. That quick vacation flew. I got to fly and go get the kids next week from Texas. We'll be talking to football after this show. All of the next shows that's going to come up, we're going to be previewing all of the college football, the NFL. It's back to the grind, man. I really enjoyed myself. How was your break, man?
Oh, it's been pretty good. I've been traveling all around, but now I'm ready to settle back in. I told you I've been doing some best ball drafts here for fantasy, but then with this fight, man, I've been knee deep in boxing the last couple of days. So I can't wait to talk to Curtis about it tonight.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, the boxing world is at the forefront. Let's bring in our guest, longtime guest and friend of the show, boxing historian, entrepreneur, owner of Scoon TV. My guy, Curtis Scoon, is in the building, man.
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
What's up, man? Good to see
Oh,
you.
man.
Yesterday, me and Scoon got a chance to kick it yesterday, spread.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, you
Yeah,
must be in
man.
town for the fight, huh?
yep,
Yep.
Yeah, all
yep.
right.
I'm here right now. I'm in
Yeah.
town. I haven't got my tickets yet, but I should have them within an hour or two.
Yeah, we both on the prowl spread. We're trying to see if we can catch the aftermarket because we was just speaking about it yesterday, Curtis and I. This is really a fans fight. People who really know the fight game. It's not as popular as they thought it was going to be. It's more looking like it's going to be, like I said, a fans fight. So it's going to be a lot of available tickets. I don't think they're going to do the numbers that they expected.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, the idea that Garcia and Tank Davis is going to be. I mean, hey, I love both those guys too, but I mean, it was pretty obvious that Tank Davis was going to win. To me, this fight, and I think I know where Curtis is already, but this is a true 50-50. It's a true pick 'em. It's a fight we wanted to see for years. So I'm actually surprised there's less talk about it, less hype about it.
Well,
Yeah, I think the Mexican community is huge with what goes on with Danny Garcia. Kind of like Bun B caught a lot of flack for saying about that in Houston about how the Mexican community comes out and supports him. But it's just a fact, man. When the Mexican community is behind something, they're going to come out deep. And I think that's why Danny Garcia, Canelo, their fights do a little bit better than that. What's your thoughts on the business side of it, Schoon? How do you think that the sales are going to do?
the tickets actually sold out. The brokers have the tickets, right?
Hmm.
It's the brokers who are dealing with the lack of demand. But the
Okay.
promoter, they get all their money up front. Like when you hear about concerts selling out in a minute, 2 minutes, it's not fans buying it. It's the brokers, and they got their little gadgets, and they buy all the tickets in bulk. Then they resell them at a markup. So what's happening is the markup is decreasing, right? It's not that the tickets are going to get sold for beneath face value. It's just that a face value ringside seat may have been 2,500, but they'll sell it for 12,000. So
Right.
they might drop down to four. You know what I mean? Like things
Right.
like that. That's what's going on right now. It's not just boxing. It's everything. They make their money off of our need for entertainment, our consumerism. Yeah.
Right.
But this one is not really doing that good. And as far as what you was talking about with the Latinos, mostly Mexicans though, I know a ticket broker, and his words to me was he told me a month ago not to worry about Spence Crawford because there's no Mexican involved. And according to him, and he's been doing this for 40 years, he said that means there's no cartel money. See, it's
Hmm.
not just Mexican money. And when you really analyze boxing, boxing has always been the red light district of sports and attracted a lot of illegal money, whether it be the mob way back in the days. But look at Frank Lucas in American Gangster, or the drug dealers back then would go to the fights. It's really a sport that caters to a certain element of society, right? And a lot of people will conflate that. But I don't think hardworking Mexicans with families and kids are spending all of their money to see fights any more than anybody else is.
Right.
When you get that easy money, and right now the cartels are where they're coming out of Mexico, so
Right.
there's a lot of that money that comes from Mexican fighters. Never in the history of boxing did the sport rely on Mexican fans
Right.
ever, until maybe Don King with Chavez when Mike Tyson went to jail. But this is a new phenomenon in this century because there are no real heavyweights, and the sport is it lacks so much depth. So now they have to shift the marketing and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so man, we're gonna get right to the present, man, and talk about this fight. It's, as the sports world on hold right now, this is the biggest fight since 2015 when Mayweather and Pacquiao fought each other, and it kind of reminds me of that fight with the fact that I feel like both of these guys they're not washed yet, but I feel like they're at the back end of their prime, where they really should have fought 5 years prior to this. Kind of like how the same thing like Mayweather and Pac-Man, they kind of dodged each other, fought other guys, and couldn't work out the money and things like that. But now we finally have it, and now with Crawford at 35 and Spence at 33, So, what's your thoughts on the fight? First of all, Curtis, I know that you like Spence. Tell us why.
I think Spence is younger, bigger, stronger. He's not, I think Crawford has the edge with speed, and he's more versatile as a fighter, but I think Spence has the better chin. And also, Crawford is 35, but he'll be 36 next month. It's
Yeah.
September. He's almost there. And lighter weights, that means a lot because your reflexes and your twitch muscles aren't the same. You know what I mean? So I think he does have things going for him. I got it as a 60-40 fight. He certainly can win, but I got Spence winning. I think he's good enough to win, but it's going to come down to, it is a word Spence keeps saying, I'm more durable. And what Spence means by that is that he can take Crawford's punishment, but he knows Crawford can't take his. And that's, to me, everything else goes out the window. That's the determining factor right there. Who's more punch resistant? And man, we've seen Crawford put down by Mean Machine on spaghetti legs from Gamboa. We've seen him, and that's what Tank meant when he said, "When a man with a glass shield goes up against a man with a steel shield, who you think gonna win?" So it's gonna come down to who can take the punch. And I believe also Spence is a fast starter. Crawford is not. I wouldn't be surprised if Spence catch him early and turn it into a dog fight. And it will be that because Crawford, he's very emotional and he got to get his lick back. And that's the worst thing he can do with Spence is try to trade with him and rumble with him. Because if that happens, the fight ain't going past 7 rounds, man. If that happens, I imagine Spence catching up with Crawford by round 5, the latest.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about it, Spread? Have you been reviewing the fight?
Yeah, I'm going back and forth. A couple things that Curtis said, I think I could see both sides of it. Spence has the better chin, right? We haven't seen him hurt, but we also know we've also seen Crawford react to being hurt and do it well. So if he gets rocked, he's been through that before. Will Spence get thrown off? He's never been hurt in a ring before. So that's one aspect of it. The slow start. Hey, everyone's been talking about that, harping on that. But one of the reasons that works so much for Crawford is he's studying in the first 4 rounds. So
yeah, that's that Tim Bradley stuff. He's downloading.
Yeah, downloading. That's the word he used, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you talked about the versatility, right? And I think one of the reasons that Crawford got so popular amongst hardcore fans is the switching stances, right?
Yeah.
Going from southpaw, going to orthodox. So of course he's able to use that information when he get it. But I would say, just purely off who can do what. Like if Spence makes it his fight, he should win. It's going to be a great fight. I keep going back and forth. My big question here for Curtis is this, because this is another one I've been bouncing back and forth. Let's say I do want to get involved. So Errol Spence is plus 142. But if I take Spence by decision, it's plus 260.
It's went up to plus 142 offshore.
Crawford's taking money.
I like
Crawford's
Crawford
minus
now, man. I've been doing the research. I like Crawford now, man. I'm on the outside.
Really? But here's my question for Curtis. If I like a fighter, am I better off just playing him by decision? What do you think the chances are that this does not go to the cards?
It depends on what their strategy is, right? I absolutely think Crawford is skilled enough to box Spence for 12 rounds. But I don't think he can win a decision doing that, because it means he's going to be on the back foot, and Spence is going to be the aggressor, and it's going to look like Crawford is running from him. At some point, he got to stop and fight if he wants to win this fight. Can he finish on his feet? Absolutely. He's skilled enough to do it. It's just that he won't look like a winner doing it, though. It's going to look like he's going to look like Stephen Fulton did against Inoue, avoiding him the whole time and running from him, and the crowd going to boo. I just think his personality is pretty clear. If he gets caught, it's like a reflex for him. He got to get his lick back. And I think that's the fight Spence wants. Spence wants a dog fight. There's a couple other things to spread. Just remember, Spence made this fight happen. Crawford started negotiations and then took another fight last year. Spence picked up the phone, called him this year. Spence gave him the percentage he wanted. Spence gave him the coin toss. He kept coming up with reasons to stop the negotiations. So regardless of what we think, Spence must really think he could beat this guy, because he gave him everything. And Spence has the 3 real belts. The WBO, I remember when they started, man. They're lucky to be considered a real sanctioning body, in my opinion. And Crawford got that title from Jeff Horn, an Australian. When was the last Australian great fighter that you know of? They don't produce great fighters. So the opposition that they fought is not the same to me or anything. I really think that Spence got the only thing I'm concerned with Spence about, and I'll be honest, is the weight loss. I don't know how much that weight cut is going to affect him, because it looked like it was a lot. And this as well, spread. Spence had an opportunity to make easy money off of Keith Thurman, right? Keith Thurman went the distance with Mario Barrios, who moved up from 140 to 147 and can't punch. And Spence didn't take it. He could have got an easy payday like Crawford did with Avanesian back in Omaha last year. He said he didn't even want to risk getting hurt. That's how bad he wanted Crawford. He didn't want any. So I'm wondering what's going through his mind. Why is he so eager to fight Crawford, and Crawford keep trying to find reasons not to fight him? See, I'm looking at this, the psychology of the two of them. If you Crawford and you as bad as you say you are, and you believe all that stuff that you say, why don't you go take all the belts?
Well, it's a lot of respect between those two, as we saw yesterday. That was one of the most, respectful weigh-ins we've seen in a long time, So I think they both know that each other are really good fighters. Spence, I think the reason that he really wants, from what I'm hearing from the press, he keeps talking about that this fight is going to be historic. It's going to put the welterweight, middleweight class back on the map. He's comparing it to the days of the Four Kings era, of Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, and Roberto Duran. I think that's his goal. I think he wants to be looked at with those guys. So he feels like, by taking on Bud, he's taking on someone who can push him to that level and finally give him the type of competition, where he can showcase his skills and show that he's one of the greats. Like I say, he's a real historian of the game. And we'll see. We'll see tonight. I'm very interested in watching the fight. Only reason I'm leaning a little bit toward Crawford, okay, he's won 2 titles in 3 divisions. He has a chance on tonight to become the first male 2-division undisputed champion of the 4-belt era. And he sounds really confident in his interviews. He's always talking about, we've seen Spence struggle. You've never seen me struggle in any of these fights because, as you said, even when he got hurt, he immediately turned it on and dominated the fight. So the only common fight that I saw when I was studying their fights, I looked at a bunch of each one of their fights, and maybe because Spence was coming off the car accident, he didn't look good against Sean Porter to me at all. And maybe that was an outlier because he was just getting his legs back together because of the car accident. Whereas we saw when Bud fought him, he beat him up. He beat him up really bad. He dropped him. But then you can also go to the fact with you guys, because Spence looked phenomenal against you guys in his last fight. And then, some people talk about you guys beating Bud in the Olympics. That was so many years ago, though. I don't compare the two. They were different, fighters at the time. I'm just more interested in watching the fight. The only thing that I think that I'm going to bet on, because spread, I'm not landing the juice. So I was leaning toward Crawford when the number was about minus 130 and plus 110.
There could be comeback here too. I would watch this. This has been moving a lot all week.
Yeah, because you
more interested in the gambling community than the boxing community. Well, I guess not the boxing community.
You said he went up to plus 170 offshore?
No, he's plus 142. Crawford minus 162.
Plus 142 is a high number on such a skilled, good fighter like Spence is. But I don't know, maybe people are looking at the weigh-in kind of like what Curtis just said about the fact that he's cut a lot of weight. So how's he going to carry that weight in the ring? Will he be able to still fight his bruising style? You know what Spence does. He's going to corner you. He reminds me of Van der Holyfield. He's going to put that head down. He let you get into where you're going to fight me. Like, no matter how much you try to run, you're going to fight me. And he can't. Bud has a chance of getting down early. Like you said, he does like to start slow and try to figure things out. So he can't get behind too many rounds early, because then he's going to have to always, be trying to get back into the fight. If he fights a smart fight, though, I think that he's enough of a tactician to be able to at least keep this fight close or win it. But with the fact that Spence holds all the belts, my bet will be a draw. I think these guys respect each other a lot, and I think that they're on the way to try to make it where they can fight a trilogy.
I'll be so mad if it's a draw. Man.
They have I think it's a rematch clause either way, too. Yeah, so we have to keep that in mind.
They have a rematch clause?
Either way. So both guys got it.
So we're going to see a part 2 regardless.
But
most likely.
Let me say this, right? 2 things. When Spence fought Porter, Spence wasn't really taking care of himself. And he dropped Porter as well. That's why he won the fight. It was really close. But Porter was a champion when Spence beat him and took that title from him. When Crawford beat Porter, Porter was semi-retired, didn't train. His father was mad at him, and that's why he stopped the fight. So he didn't see the same Porter that Spence saw. Even when he beat Kell Brook, the other common opponent, Kell Brook Spence had beat him 3 years earlier. Kell Brook was so shot, his trainer, Virgil Hunter, didn't want him to take the fight with Porter. What I look at with Crawford, what I look at with Crawford is when he fought Jose Benavidez Jr., who was fighting on one leg and went almost the whole 12 rounds with him because he got shot in one leg leading up to that fight. He dropped him in the end, stopped it, but it was like 1 minute left in the final round. That guy took everything he had. And Spence used to beat him up in sparring. So now, as far as respect goes, what was said yesterday, I find that Crawford's whole tone has changed since they signed the contract. Previously, he was going around talking about calling Spence a hoe and all of this stuff. As soon as they signed the contract, now he wants to be a polite gentleman. Spence never said anything. Now he says, I'm going to break his will. I'm going to put him in the dirt. And yesterday, when you saw them shake hands, it's because Crawford's still trying to be friendly and be the gentleman. Spence told him, you should thank me.
Yeah.
And that's why he did that. And Spence said it afterwards. He said, yeah, because I gave him everything he wanted. Spence is disgusted with him, but he's not a talker. He's going to get in there. All that stuff that Bernie the boxer, Bomac, and Crawford like to do outside the ring to entertain their fans. The moment of truth is tonight. I believe he gets crushed. That's what I think. I could be wrong. I was wrong earlier this week. I thought Fulton was going to win. He lost. But I don't watch the little guys. These guys I really watch. So I really think that Spence got him. But it's boxing. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. So, what's your pick to give out to the crowd
Oh man.
of the people watching spread? I mean, Scoon, what do you think
Well,
happens tonight?
I bet on Spence. Um, I think the way I see it, if Bud fights, he gets stopped. If he boxes, he loses a decision. But if he catch Spence and that weight cut took too much out of Spence, Bud might get off. I'm just being honest. It's possible, man. Both of them dudes are deadly, man.
Yeah,
You can't count anybody out.
yeah,
I say 60-40, but I think Bud can pull it off if he get the right situation. We got to see what Spence show up. I'll know for sure after round 2 who's going to win this fight for sure, for sure. You know what I mean? Yeah, because
right.
I'll see the momentum. Absolutely. Spence going to come out smoking, and if Bud can stop him, slow him down, then I'll be like, oh, it's going to be a long night. But if I see Bud looking for the exit, yo, man, let's. Do you know Jamel Charlo bet 25,000 on Spence to win in 6 rounds?
Uh-oh.
Jamel, that's right.
That's
Jamel
the home. Shout out Charlo twins. We see y'all on
God.
we saw what y'all they going on. It's all right, man. Y'all know y'all by East Town, Southwest
Yeah.
boy, so it's all good, man. But
I
yeah,
mean, that's his boy and his stablemate, but I don't think he's gonna throw away 25,000 like that. He been
yeah.
watching Spence train, man. He bet 25,000 on Spence to win by 6 in 6 rounds. He's picking rounds. He's not just saying I got 25 for Spence to win. He's picking the rounds. I had said 7 before I knew that. I just can't see a rumble between the two of them, regardless of who win, going more than 7 rounds. They
That
hit
gets to the next
hard.
question.
Yeah.
The over and under. That gets to the next question. Over and under on the rounds. What are you showing up there, spread for the over and under on the
10
rounds?
and a half, but it's heavily juiced to the over, minus 270. So you really just have to look. I would think rather than bet that, unless you really like under, you go, will the fight go the distance? But yes, it's still minus 220 there.
Yeah, see, under. I'm gonna ride with you, Schoon. Gotta go under on both of those, correct?
I think so. But it's funny, right? The Porter Crawford fight, the over under was 10, 10 or 10 and a half, something like that. And that's when his father stopped the fight.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but yo, man, that's an interesting stat right there, spread, because I find like more so than anything when they do the over under, that's usually kind of very accurate. It's for some reason they got that down to a science. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just like these lines on the football. You know why they got them
yeah.
right. They
Man,
already know what's gonna happen.
I think that 10 and a half, man, that's yeah, I got him in the 7, but that's interesting. Now I'm thinking the fight might go the distance, Yeah, for sure.
I'm thinking it's gonna be respectful, go the distance, and they get a draw. They put on a good performance, and they both agree not to hurt each other. That's what I think. I think they try to get paid long term together. Honestly,
Well, I think they're going to get paid no matter what. I think they got too much pride. I mean, if it's a draw, it's a draw. But
I think it'll be a draw from it being a great fight. That's what I think. I
You
think we'll
know,
see Crawford. We'll see. I think was, in my opinion, and especially you, Scoon. You know a lot more about fighting than me. But I have been looking at these fighters and looking at their fights over the last couple of weeks leading up to this. I really expect it'd be early, a lot of Spence, and then after Crawford figures him out, he starts, doing his technical stuff, and is able to land some stuff, do some switching up to southpaw, gets the scoring, gets the crowd involved, and we end up where everybody's happy going home. They say, "What a fight! Wait till they fight again. This is one of the greatest fights we've ever seen."
look, I would enjoy it, but keep this in mind, man. Spence throws more jabs than Crawford throws punches, and he gets stronger as the fight goes on.
That he does.
Keep that in mind about Errol Spence. He throws more jabs than Crawford throws punches. and he gets stronger as the fight goes on. That's why I don't know if they rumbling. Oh, it's gonna be a rumble, bro.
Right.
It's gonna be a rumble for sure. A draw though would be the house win all the money. I don't think anybody's betting that. You know what
Just
I'm
me. Me in the house. But my old saying is it's only two entities that win in the world of sports betting. And that's the supreme clientele in Vegas, man.
saying?
Hey, man, and with that said,
Well, I got one more question for
You
Scoon.
got, oh, my
Go
bad.
ahead,
Go ahead,
go
Spread.
ahead.
I don't know. You said you don't watch the little guys, but Alexandra Santiago is plus 105. Nonito Donaire minus 125. Donaire past his prime, but still a good fighter. Did you have a wager for this one, or is the odds right?
Donaire, based on how well Donaire did against Inoue at his age, even though he lost, I think he still got something in the tank for a mediocre fighter. I don't want to count him out too quick unless he's going up against a name. He's a tough guy, man. I watched him. Sometimes it's like that in boxing. I gain more respect for fighters in their loss than in their win. You know what I mean? Because everybody looks good when things are going their way. It's how they deal with the adversity. And I saw some mental toughness in Donaire, man, for sure. And I give him a hard time because he's trained by his wife. And I spoke to him to get him in Born to Box, and he kept trying to push his wife to get interviewed. So I give him a hard time. But as a fighter now, I think he's solid. I wouldn't. If I'm gonna take some odds, it'll be for him, man, for sure.
All right. Give me a little extra action there on the undercard now.
Extra action for a spread. Hey, Scoon, I'll see you before the fight and after the fight, man. I'll be down to the strip in probably about an hour when I hit you up when I pull up, man.
Okay, cool, bro. Have a good one.
Hey, man, it's
Good
always
seeing you,
good.
Curtis. Enjoy tonight.
All right, y'all follow my guy at Curtis Scoon, and you please subscribe to his channel, Scoon TV. Still giving the best information out there in the news world and giving you guys the real, not that watered down stuff that you're seeing on ABC, NBC, and CBS. All right, Scoon, we'll talk to you soon, brother. All right, peace. All right, man. We decided since we're here, it's mostly about the fight, but let's get to the future real fast. Spread, we'll make it.
We got the future. Give it out real quick, and then I got to run. I'm still doing the housework.
I got you.
Gotta get that done before
Okay, so we remember we had the Ravens at minus 140 spread to make the playoffs. They shot to minus 155. We got news of Joe Burrow injury. We don't know if that's permanent, but he's also, it's a major injury or not, but we know that Burrow is injury prone. I like everything I'm hearing out the Ravens camp. They say Zay Flowers is about to be the next guy receiver. Then that makes OBJ just a third option. And you put OBJ on anybody's third receiver, he's going to kill them. And I think Lamar has something to prove this year after how the year ended last year with him not playing and kind of sitting out. So I really, really like the Ravens to make the playoffs, and I think that most bettors agree with me with the juice going up to minus 155. I also took the Packers. I got them at plus 420. Some houses got them a little bit more to win the AFC North. And it boils down to this. Everyone's blowing all this smoke up the Lions' tails, but I won't believe it until I see it. That they can win. I think there's going to be a good transition. The Packers over the years have always set themselves up well at the quarterback position. When they lose one star, they usually have someone that can come hold it down. And I think that Jordan Love is that guy. He looked really good at the end of the year when he came into play. They have weapons all over the field. And now LaFleur gets a chance to draw plays that are about the team instead of being to appease Aaron Rodgers. And I think they have that little boost that you get the year after a star leaves where the team is really out to try to prove something and show people that, hey, we were bigger than Aaron Rodgers. And, I feel like Aaron Rodgers lost a lot of games for them last year. A lot of games where LaFleur had put them in a situation to win and the defense had put them in a situation to win and Rodgers didn't deliver. So I'll be on the Packers to surprise everyone. Surprisingly, they have better odds than the Bears to win. They have them. It's fourth place predicted right now, and I could not agree less. Real quickly to the ball and parlay. Do the ball and parlay real fast, man. We're giving out the BC Lions -7 in Canadian football. BC has won the last 5 matchups against Edmonton by 30 points. It used to be the Edmonton Eskimos, but we're in a different time now, so they're the Elks. Edmonton just as horrible, man. BC starter Vernon Adams is out, but I think that their backup Dane Evans has enough experience to still cover that line. Edmonton has lost a record 20 straight home games. I don't expect that to change tonight, so we're going BC Lions -7. Anything for the people spread before we get out of here? I know you got some home repairs to do.
Still working on it, but we'll be done for tonight.
This old house.
I'll be watching on TV.
This old house Star and Spread.
I know, huh? Hey, you know, that's for me. It's a fun way to take your winnings, right? Because you don't feel like you're just blowing them. I mean, I did have some fun vacation and stuff, right? But it's like, okay, well, this is a little bit of investment in my winnings. I'm not just
nothing
spending everything we grinded for all year. So
that's right. A great investment by you, Spread. You nothing like building up the equity in your own home. It's going to be worth a lot when you get ready to lease it out and move to Las Vegas and come live next door to me in Summerlin. So continue to work on this value, brother.
All right. Well, enjoy the fight tonight.
Yes, man. Enjoy the fight tonight. I'll talk to you next week. We got to go to Houston. I got a lot of big things coming up. We're going to announce in the next couple of weeks. The me and Spread are expanding the show. We might be on some radio airwaves pretty soon, buddy. So we'll talk about it real soon to you guys. Until then, man, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hey, we're back, guys. Best of luck to y'all tonight.